What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take an in-depth look at the Ghost Rider Champion Spotlight. So this very awesome and long anticipated champion is being added to the game tomorrow at 6 o'clock UK time. The crystals are going to be added, and then he's going to be in the arena all over the weekend. So you can, even if you can't get him as a 4-star, you should be able to grind him as a 3-star, providing you put a little bit of time into doing so. It's probably going to be quite a high cutoff for the 3-star, so expect records to be broken because this champion is pretty hype. Now in today's video we're going to be talking all about the stats of the champion and also where I believe he's going to fit in best in the game. Really good champion. However, guys, since we initially covered his abilities and he was added to the game and all that stuff, he has actually been nerfed a little bit, and we're going to talk about that and what changes have been made to the champion. So I was a little bit disappointed to see him nerfed a little bit this soon, but it isn't like a huge nerf, it's just a little one. So we don't have to worry too much, guys. Anyway, let's talk about the stats of this champion and how good is prestige. That's one of the questions that a lot of top players will want to know. So all the stats in this this kind of champion spotlight are based on a 4-star champion that is rank 5, level 50, and signature level 99. So his health is 16,000. It's probably better for the stats of the champion because he's already been added to marvelbitverchampion.ru, which is an amazing Russian fan site for the game, but also caters to English readers as well. So we can see in terms of his actual PI, he is 5th on the list. He's behind Loki, Quake, Phoenix, and Thanos, which is still pretty good. But in terms of PI, he is like 3 PI behind Loki. But to be honest, Loki probably needs that advantage because like he's a really crappy champion. Like straight up, guys, not a great champion at all. But in comparison, in terms of like his attack and his health, Ghost Rider has a really solid pool of health. 16,000 is definitely on the higher end in comparison to all the champions in the game. Not quite up there with 19,000. With the likes of champions like Gru and Thanos, but it's still quite good. Anyway, the main use for Ghost Rider is not as a defensive champion in Alliance War. It's as a champion you play in Alliance Quest and Alliance War probably in all your questing and stuff because he can heal, and that's very valuable, but we'll talk about that in a sec. So in terms of his PI, it's pretty good. It is definitely up there, top 5, so that is decent. Although in comparison to Loki, he has like 3 less PI, but I think that, you know, that's such a small gap that it won't make a huge difference, and I think if you have the choice between 2 champions purely in a prestige situation, I think you'll probably still choose Ghost Rider because he's, again, a significantly better champion. His attack is alright, it's pretty average, but it's all about his abilities that make him an amazing champion, and we're going to talk about those. So basically, Ghost Rider has a mechanic called Judgments, and with the various attacks that he does, his special attacks, certain combos, heavy attacks, they all trigger a different kind of judgment. So basically each judgment can only be applied once and last indefinitely. However, it doesn't say up there, but it is reset by his level 3 ability. And for each judgment that you have active on the opponent, so once you use a judgment, it places a debuff on the opponent. For each judgment you have active, the next judgment you do is plus 75% more effective for every judgment that you have on the opponent. So all your judgments again do different things, but you can have that up to 300% more effective on one of your judgments, which is pretty crazy because the judgments do some really cool stuff. So there are, one thing that I just love about this character's design is there are so many different ways that you can kind of play the champion to get different effects. I mean, some of the judgments are focused on more damage, some of them are focused on burning power, some of them are focused on leeching healing and increasing the duration of Ghost Rider's health steal. So the way that you play this champion and the order that you use your abilities in can really like change, you know, what you're trying to achieve in different scenarios and different fights. So playing cleverly and understanding this character's mechanics and what he does, you know, there's a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge element to playing this champion really well and being good at him. And I think kind of that, combined with, you know, all the crazy stuff that he does, is going to put him in a really high tier when it comes to the champion rankings. I reckon he's definitely a god tier champion, but might be a little bit better overall than Doctor Strange. I think I'm very boldly going to say that this champion might be classified as the second best character in the game. Now, that's a very bold statement, but I'm going to explain why in a bit more detail when we talk about the judgments and various stuff that you can do. So let's go into them. The first judgment is the judgment of Spite, and that's finishing a 5-hit combo with a light attack, and that has inflicts bleed, dealing 104% of your direct damage of your attack as direct damage over 3.5 seconds. So you're probably going to use that one like pretty willy-nilly. That's not one you really want to focus on unless you're like looking to get like super crazy damage. But then again, you probably want to save it for the, where is his dupe? I don't think his dupe ability is covered in here. So his duped ability is finishing a 5-hit combo with a medium attack, which increases his attack by up to 100% based on his dupe level. And yeah, it's not in here at all, but that again is another judgment. So again, those ones are just purely based on damage. So, you know, if you wanted to kind of, you know, trigger one of those at the end, you could either get like a really, really powerful bleed or a really, really long-lasting attack increase. Again, it's going to take a little bit of testing with this champion to find out which one is the most effective one to use, but it's probably going to be the attack increase, I would assume. But I imagine there are certain scenarios, such as on those, safeguard nodes, where the bleed might be a bit more valuable to, you know, get up to a high level, so it gets a lot more benefit from that. So heavy attacks, Judgment of Malice, you can gain a lifesteal passive for 6.5 seconds, allowing Ghost Rider to steal 34.5% of the health of each attack. Now, 6.5 seconds, right? If you have 4 judgments on you, that is, what does that go up to? Pretty much 20 seconds. Like, it's absolutely absurd. So you can gain a 34.5% health steal with every attack, and that's based on the damage that you deal, for like 20 seconds. If you play it right, so I think with the amount of uptime you do, if you're cycling quite well, I reckon you can have this up like a good, anywhere between 50 to 70% of the time. So that's crazy. That is absolutely absurd that you can use, you know, the health steal on demand and have it up for such a long amount of time. I think that's one of the slight annoyances with Doctor Strange, is that, you know, he alternates between stances, and there are maybe some points where you're in your healing stance and you really, really need to heal, but you also maybe really need to, I don't know, either bait a special attack or just avoid something for a few seconds. So while you're in that healing stance, it's wasted because you're trying to avoid attacks. So I think the fact that you can actually control when you get your health steal, and the fact that it lasts for potentially so long, is really, really good. So I really like that. So special one, the judgment on that is Fate Seal, nullifying the opponent for 5.1 seconds. Again, increased up to 300%. Could be really good. Could be really good for certain fights, you know, against like Iron Man, for example. You can nullify all of the armor up buffs and all of the healing buffs when you push him below like 15%. So again, has an absolutely great use there. Special 2 has the Judgment of Anger associated with it, which drains 17% of the opponent's power over 2 seconds. Again, if you've increased that by 300%, that is close to 80% power, so that power drain really, really valuable. Again, it's not the strongest power drain in the game. If you want a power drain champion, Vision is going to be the better option. However, that does have its uses, and it's like a really nice addition to the champion, so you certainly can't knock it. And then when you go onto your special 3, so that resets all of your judgments and inflicts damnation upon the opponent through the penance stare for 3.5 seconds. And I believe this is actually increased with the amount of judgments you have, but I'm not entirely sure. It's not labeled as a... Oh yeah, actually it is labeled as a judgment, so yeah, it will increase. So this judgment, what it does is it deals 40% of Ghost Rider's attack as direct damage, so a little bit of damage there, but also power locks the opponent, heal blocks them, and fate seals them. Crazy, crazy good. That's so ridiculous on a level 3. So that's like an absolutely stacked version of Doctor Strange's level 3. And then when damnation ends, all the judgments on the opponent are removed and can be applied again, and you start the cycle again. So that is really, really good. There are some really smart ways that you can play the champion. And again, this champion, I love the design of it. There's just so much you can do, so many different like combos you can use in your specials in different orders to trigger stuff in certain ways that benefit you on certain fights. But again, we're probably gonna have to do a kind of like in-depth guide on how to play Ghost Rider once I've played about with the champion and figured out like how to you know, what are the best combos for different scenarios and how to, you know, get the upper hand on a lot of bosses and stuff. So that's going to be pretty cool. And then we look at his passive, Evil's Bane. So against any opponents that are villains, against any opponents that are guilty, Ghost Rider's chance to place a judgment is increased by 20%. So it's not actually 100% on all of these things, but it's close to it. It's like 80 to 70% for most of them, but when you're against a villain, it's pretty much close to either 90 or 100% for your judgment to be placed on the opponent, and additionally your armor is increased by 16.5% and also your crit chances as well, so that's pretty good. That's pretty insane considering the amount of villains in the game. Yeah, just overall very, very nice and solid passive. Certainly can't knock it at all. He's also immune to bleeding, which is really, really good. That is certainly very helpful for a lot of things in the game. Again, like a nice little addition to the character. Oh, there it is. So there's his signature ability, Spirit of Vengeance. Again, the Judgment of Corruption, the one that I was talking about, where he gains a burst of up to 100% attack for 7.5 seconds. So, yeah, pretty good, pretty good. And then we look at the synergy bonuses. So his synergy bonuses, I think this is the one thing that sucks about this character. His synergy bonuses, like, are so bad. They're so ridiculously terrible. So teammates with Wolverine, X-23, Deadpool, or Elektra, plus 5% perfect block chance. Again, pretty useless synergy, not helpful at all. And then also rivals with the Punisher, plus 25% crit damage. Crit damage is pretty worthless, plus it's with the Punisher, who is a completely garbage champion. So overall, yeah, not good at all. The synergies suck, they might as well just not exist. But guys, with a champion that has so much great stuff, you know, you have to sacrifice a little bit, and that's clearly on the synergies there. So that's pretty much it for the Ghost Rider Spotlight, guys. Overall, I'm really, really excited about this champion. I love the champion's animations. I think they're really cool. A lot of people were hating on them, but I think they're pretty badass in my opinion. And I love the look of the champion. But the main thing that I love about this champion is how much additional work and thought has gone into the design of the champion. And I've probably said that quite a bit in this video, but it's something that I really, really want to praise. I want to see more of this character design, more of stuff that makes you think about stuff that you're doing in combat, and that you have to plan out and kind of have a little bit of knowledge about both the character you're playing and the game, instead of just mindlessly button mashing. So I think that's really, really good. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick review of Ghost Rider and some, you know, hints and tips on him. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you did enjoy it, feel free to leave a thumbs up. Apart from that, guys, if you're new to the channel and want to see more awesome Marvel Contest of Champions content, if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get new content on an almost daily basis, which is pretty good. Apart from that, guys, take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.